All right. Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all West Virginia students, sponsored by the West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admission Officers and Strive Scan. Thank you for joining us. We just have a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. Now, this is just one of the many sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at WVACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, WVACRAO.org. Now, I would like to turn it over to the presenters.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All righty. All right, everyone. Good evening. My name is Isabella Kowalski. I'm an admissions counselor with Blue Ridge CTC. We're located in Martinsburg, West Virginia. I am joined by my coworker and a fellow admissions counselor, Hope Sprigg. She's going to be manning the questions. We will try to get to all of your questions during this presentation. We might be answering some afterwards as well, so your patience is thanked in advance. So a little bit about us, if you're not aware of Blue Ridge CTC. Like I said, we are located in Martinsburg, West Virginia. And I'll get to that in a little bit. I kind of already talked about us. But once again, we're both admissions counselors. That is both of our contact info. So in case you need to reach out to us, please let us know. Most of us are working remotely at this time. So in case you wanted to shoot us a text or email us, that might be the best way to get a hold of us. So either of us, Hope or I, will be able to answer most of your questions. Okay. All righty. So a little bit about Blue Ridge. So we are a community and technical college, which means we are only going to be able to offer up to an associate's degree, which is a 2-year program. And we focus more on those career entry programs. So those things that kind of get you in school, get you out of school as quick as possible and out into the workforce with the job. We also have those classes that maybe if you're already working and you want to just brush up your skills, learn a little bit more to maybe bring back to your job. We also have those classes. And last but not least, we also have programs to get you set to maybe transfer to a 4-year university. I always like to tell people that we can be, your first step toward 4-year university transfer. We can be your maybe last step with workforce development, just kind of brushing up some skills and teaching you more things for the job. And we might be your only step. Maybe this is the one step you want to take for your education. Either way, we're happy to have you. And I'm going to go into a little bit more depth about what we do offer and our different amenities. Okay. So one big thing, in case some of you aren't aware, some major differences between community colleges and universities. So Blue Ridge is a community and technical college. It's a community college up to 2 years of a program, whereas university is going to be about 4 years. We do not have any on-campus living. Everyone commutes to and from school every day. We also are going to have more career-ready programs, whereas our fellow universities might have maybe broader subject programs, maybe things to even prepare you to go on to get a master's or maybe a PhD or doctorate. We are going to have smaller class sizes. We only do have about 20 to 25 students per class, whereas a university, depending on where you go, they can have several hundred people in one class. Also with our community colleges, we're going to have those transfer opportunities for you to maybe get your feet wet with college courses and then maybe transfer to a 4-year if that's your plan later. And also we can be usually about half the price. And I will get into this a little bit later when we talk about the fun stuff, money. And last but not least, we often have diverse class ages. And that is very true, especially with Blue Ridge. Our average age of a student is actually about 35 years old. So we have a lot of people fresh out of high school, and then we have people all the way, adults with kids, grandkids, all the way up into mature ages, 70, 80 years old. So we have a little bit of everybody. It all depends on where you want to go. one, there isn't a right way over a wrong way with either of these choices. And as you'll learn about all these different colleges in the next couple weeks, just start thinking about these kind of things. All right, so what we offer at Blue Ridge, a lot. We offer a ton at Blue Ridge, over 60 different programs. You'll see a few of them listed there, anything from agribusiness to business, criminal justice, culinary, education, electrical distribution technology, which is linemen, healthcare professions, nursing, liberal arts, mechatronics. I could go on and on. We have a lot of those hands-on programs like culinary, engineering, IT, EDET, where you really focus on honing your skills either in a certain trade or, certain technical skills to then use out in the job. Or we also have those more general degrees like business or liberal arts, things that you can take your some classes with us, whether a whole degree or just some classes, and then transfer to a 4-year to finish those certain degrees. Other ones like that are definitely education, where you would need at least a bachelor's to be a teacher or things like that. So we can get you started. We can, have you come here and get a whole degree and get you on your way, or we can get you started, or we can just finish up a degree for you as well. Okay. All righty. So I'm actually going to play a couple videos just to show you the different programs that we do have. At this point, we are working on getting a virtual tour set up for Blue Ridge on our website. Until then, I'm going to go ahead and show you just a couple of videos. They're pretty short to show you some programs that we do have at Blue Ridge. Keep in mind, some of these are commercials, so you might see extra blurbs about Blue Ridge. It's just all of our contact information, but it just gives you an idea of what we offer. So hopefully this will work. Hold on one second.
Blue Ridge is the premier culinary academy within the 4-state region.
We start with the teachers. They have decades of experience behind them. Each teacher brings a different skill set to the table.
The chefs that teach these classes are very accomplished.
We offer
Sorry about that.
very affordable tuition, and we have a very low student-to-teacher ratio.
I will go to Blue Ridge Community Technical College for their culinary arts program because you can go places in this academy.
That was just a little blurb about our culinary program. It is pretty awesome. We are one of the only culinary programs in kind of the Eastern Panhandle area. And the man who's on that commercial just now, Steve Weiss, is in charge of culinary. He actually just won a competition on Food Network, which is pretty cool. So in the culinary program, it is pretty awesome. You can focus just in culinary arts, which is a little bit about cooking, a little bit about baking, a little bit about everything in the kitchen. There's also just baking pastry if you want to focus more on the breads and the cakes and the cookies and the stuff like that. And there's also food retail service management and hospitality management. So there's a little bit of everything. And we actually just got a food truck with the culinary program. So
Blue Ridge
if you ever see a food truck driving by, that's us. So that's a little bit about our culinary program. And next we'll check out getting into more hands-on things, our heavy equipment tech. And if you're like me, I wasn't entirely sure what heavy equipment tech was before I started here, but this is going to give you a little bit about it in case you're more of the hands-on, really want to do some heavy lifting and kind of work in almost kind of like a factory setting, really working on your hands and doing a lot of physical things. So here's some information about that heavy equipment tech.
Blue Ridge Community and Technical College is your pathway to a rewarding career in demand across multiple industries. Begin training for your career as a heavy equipment technician now. Instruction is based on hands-on skill development working with hydraulics, welding, machining, and more. Join Blue Ridge Community and Technical College's Heavy Equipment Technician program and train for a new career today. To learn more, visit blueridgectc.edu.
So that was a little bit about heavy equipment tech. This is a really cool program. It's going to include obviously the machining and some of our welding. And we even have a separate welding certificate program as well, if that's something that interests you. I love it. There's just a little bit of everything. And these two majors I've shown you so far, they're actually going to be held at our tech center. We have 3 major campuses, and one of the two that's in Martinsburg is our tech center. That's where our culinary program is, our heavy equipment tech. This next program I'm going to show you in just a second. That is where all of those super hands-on programs are held. So in case that's something that interests you, that was a little bit about heavy equipment tech. And next, I'll show you one last video on mechatronics. So this is going to be related to heavy equipment tech. This is getting into more robotics side of it, and I'll show you this. Keep in mind, this commercial is a little old, so actually the salary information you'll see listed is a little out of date. Things have increased since then, but here's a little bit about our mechatronics program.
Everyone knows what a mechanic does. They install, fix, maintain, repair, and an electrician works on just about anything electrical. Now there's a trend to combine these two jobs into a new job field called mechatronics. Today's mechatronics technician needs to be more highly skilled than ever. They need to combine knowledge of engineering, hydraulics, and pneumatics with electronics, device networking, and computer science. Set your future in motion with Blue Ridge Community and Technical College's mechatronics program. Blue Ridge Community and Technical College. To learn more, visit blueridgectc.edu.
So that was a little bit more about mechatronics, and this is really cool. We have 3 or 4 different types of industry level robots in our tech center. There's ABB, there's KUKA, there's a few others that students get to physically program and code and have them do different things. They can code the robot to draw triangles with a pen or draw a circle with a pen. It's really cool. Hopefully once things kind of not get back to normal, but maybe become the new normal and maybe in-person visits are possible. Hopefully everyone will be able to have the chance to come to the tech center and see these really cool labs that we have. Okay. All right. So we've kind of talked about programs. Like I said, there's a little bit of everything: culinary, engineering, IT, nursing, healthcare professions, EMS, liberal arts, a little bit of everything. Okay. So we've kind of talked about that. And now we're going to get into the money side of it. What everyone loves to talk about, right? Money, yay. So unfortunately, college does cost money. But in our case, since we are a community and technical college, we do cost slightly less than maybe some other colleges you might be seeing. Here is our basic tuition information. Long or short of it is in-state tuition. If you live inside West Virginia, doesn't matter where you live in West Virginia, just all of West Virginia, you are getting 172 per credit hour. And what that means is how we divide our classes up is by credit hours. That's actually how we decide how many classes you need to take for the degree as well. For a 2-year associate's degree, it's about 60 credit hours. And one class is about 3 credit hours. So it's about 20 classes or so, okay? And if you've never heard the term credit hour before, it's just how many hours a week you're spending in that class. So if every class is about 3 credit hours, you're spending about 3 hours a week in each of those classes. You might hear the term full-time student, and that means 12 credit hours and above a semester. Okay, so which means if you're taking 12 credit hours a semester, you might be taking about 4 classes, and you would be taking those 4 classes a semester and go into those each week. So you have about 4 classes a week. Okay, those might be, you know, thrown in all on one day. You might have, you know, a 3-hour class on Monday, 3-hour class on Tuesday, and maybe your 2 other ones are divvied up an hour and a half each on the remaining days, something like that. But this gives you an idea. If you are a full-time student with us, you're paying about that $2,000 a semester. Okay, we do stop charging you after 12 credit hours, so you can take actually up to 19. Okay, so full-time is anywhere from 12 credit hours to 19 credit hours. So that's for in-state West Virginia residents. If you don't live in West Virginia, but you do live in one of these surrounding counties of the Panhandle, such as these on the left-hand side, we've got our Frederick, Clark, and Loudoun in Virginia, Frederick and Washington in MD, and we've got our Fulton and Franklin in PA. So that gives you an idea. If you live in one of those counties, you're actually getting our metro fee rate, which is slightly more than the in-state, not quite as expensive as the out-of-state. Okay, but that gives you an idea. And if you don't live in West Virginia or one of these surrounding counties, this is what you're paying. You're paying that $311. Okay. Now, depending on how old everyone is on this call. If you are still currently a high school student, you can actually take classes with us. Take some of your general classes, your Englishes, your maths, your classes that you had to take no matter what your major is. You can get some of those out of the way and take classes for only $25 a credit hour. That's $75 per class. That is real cheap. So if any of you out there are looking to get some of your general classes out of the way, think about us. It's $25 per credit hour. That's $75 for a class. That is crazy, crazy inexpensive. That is awesome. So think about that. Get some of those classes out of the way. I did a similar program in high school. It wasn't quite this cheap, but I did take some classes while I was still in high school at some colleges, and I did get some of those generals out of the way. It's really nice when you have a couple less classes to take once you get to school. It's really cool. And you save some money too. Who doesn't like saving money? It's my favorite thing. So now we've talked about how much it costs, right? It's about $2,000 per semester, which is about $4,000 a year. Times that by 2, that's getting close to, $8,000, $8,200. And that's just tuition. That's not including any books or any lab fees or any online fees, anything like that. So it can, increase and rake up quite a bit. So I don't want anyone to freak out. That is merely the base price. That's before any coupons, any scholarships, anything like that. So that is merely out of pocket. However, not everyone pays out of pocket, all right? This is a list of ways to pay for college and tuition, and this is going to be standard for any of the colleges that you'll see during this WVACRAO fair. But you can pay out of pocket. You can pay with grants, which is free money from the government, work study, which is earned money. You get a job on campus, loans, that borrowed money we don't like, but sometimes money we have to take, and scholarships and third-party payments, which is more free money. So how are we eligible for some of those I just listed? Financial aid, okay? So you probably heard this term before, but even if we are a community college, but we still go through the same financial aid process as anyone else, you would need to fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. What is the FAFSA? Honestly, that was my first question when I was in high school. I'm like, what the heck is the FAFSA? It's like I said, it's that free application for federal student aid, but what does it do? It basically is your way of asking the federal government, hey government, I want to go to school. Here's my information. Think about it. What money can you give me to help me go to school? That's honestly all it is. That's all it is. You'd go to fill out the FAFSA. This happens annually. You'll fill out the FAFSA every year. You'll put in your information, and it'll look at your tax information. It'll look at your parents' tax information if you're under the age of 24, not married, or in the military, or have your own kids. And it will let you know what you're eligible for. You might be eligible for grants, which is free money, right? It usually is income-based. So they're looking at what you had put on your FAFSA, looking at what you put on your taxes, and they'll see the more money that you're bringing in every year, according to your taxes, the less money they're going to give you, and vice versa. Okay. So you might hear some of your friends say, oh, my parents make too much. I'm not eligible for that. That's what they mean. FAFSA is income-based. Okay. Loans, mostly everyone is eligible for loans. It's that borrowed money. It's like a car loan. It's like a mortgage on your house. It's money that you have to pay back, right? And last but not least is work study. Work study is earned money. You get a job on campus and you earn that money, and you can use it for whatever you'd like. All right. Pretty standard. Nothing really, changes depending on what school you go to. But the real thing was this is whether you want to come to Blue Ridge, whether you want to go to any other school, you would have to fill out the FAFSA. Each school is going to have their own code, and that code right there is our Blue Ridge code. If you put that on your FAFSA, that means we get a copy of your FAFSA and we're able to see what you're eligible for aid. Okay, just keep that in mind. This is important, and it can take several weeks to process. So, never freak out about how much tuition costs. It does cost a lot of money, but you want to make sure you take care of everything you need to take care of first, which is filling out your FAFSA and some other things I'm going to show you. So your first step with financial aid is FAFSA, but there's some other programs I'm going to tell you about as well. West Virginia Invest, this is a grant program, so grant, free money, money we like, okay? This started last year. The long or short of this is it works at most community colleges in West Virginia. And what it does is, as long as you live in West Virginia and you can pass a couple of the exceptions that I have on the next page here, as long as you live here and you promise to live within the state for 2 years after your program, the state will pay for your program. In most of the degree programs that we offer, it's all but 3. And same with the certificates, it pretty much covers almost all of our certificates. So this is a way to get free school, and this is not income based. They are not looking at how much or how not much you might be bringing in every year. Okay, so this is a great way to get school paid for. There are ways, you just have to look and apply for them. So this is one way. How to qualify for Invest, you need to fill out the FAFSA and the West Virginia Invest app. It's super quick and easy. It's like 5 questions. Then you gotta make sure that you've already applied to Blue Ridge and you're following a covered program. Like I said, most of them are. Most of our programs at Blue Ridge are covered by West Virginia Invest. You need to have lived here for at least a year, live within the state, and they do mean legally. They do look at DMV and check your IDs and make sure that you legally, reside within the state and you have proof to show that. You need to be either graduate from high school or have a GED. You cannot have an associate's degree or higher. You need to pay and pass a drug test every semester and complete 2 hours of community service each semester. And you do also need to promise to live within the state of West Virginia for 2 years after your program. Not necessarily work, just live, okay? That gives you an idea. It's a way to get school paid for. It's free money. Definitely think about West Virginia Invest. A lot of students come here to Blue Ridge, start a program, use West Virginia Invest, have their associates pay for, and maybe transfer to another in-state school. It's a lot of money you can save, okay? Other ways you can get school paid for, federal work study. This is the same with any other college. You can get a job on campus and you earn the job by merit. And of course you keep that job by merit and you can earn that money to then use toward your tuition or whichever you need to use it for. And loans, last but not least, the borrowed money. We all know about loans. There are 2 different kinds. You have to pay back a loan, whether you finish your school, whether you like your schooling, whether you get a job, no matter what, unfortunately, loans do need to be paid back. So just something to think about. There are ways for school to get paid for. You just need to research, do your research, take the time and look into it. Okay. And don't give up before you try. You got to maybe throw in a little bit of extra effort, but it'll be worth it in the end. Last but not least is going to be scholarships. Scholarships is more free money. There are a couple sites on the left-hand side here that you can look for scholarships. Here at Blue Ridge, we do have our own scholarship foundation. It's just called the foundation. And they do raise money for scholarships to give out to students. That's going to be found on our website. And there's also some sites as well, scholarships.com, FastWeb, things like that. There's also, of course, the Promise Scholarship. We do accept the Promise Scholarship in case any of you are applicants for that. Okay. And there's some other places you can look for your scholarships. All right. And the last program I'm going to mention is the Ascend program. This is also new. This started just this semester. And what this is, it's pretty much accelerating student completion, encouraging new dreams. What we're doing, we're helping students financially. We're going to kind of close those gaps with extra fees and tuition. We're going to have monthly incentives for gas and groceries and also help you with textbooks. Okay. Not all aid will help you with textbooks. West Virginia Invest will only cover that base tuition. You still have to pay for textbooks and fees. So this is a great way to maybe get that covered. It gives you some financial assistance as well as academic assistance. You'll have your own personal counselor with this. They'll meet with you a little bit more regularly and make sure that everything's a-okay and you're getting through school healthy, happy, and safe, pretty much. These are the Ascend eligible programs. This is not quite as many as Invest. Like I said, Invest covers almost everything. Ascend is a little bit more particular. You'll notice it focuses more on the hands-on programs. So it's going to have our applied laboratory technician, which is going to work on like quality assurance of chemicals and shampoos and products that people often buy. Culinary arts, nursing, plastics engineering, most of our culinary programs and some of our IT programs. So this is something to look into if you want those extra fees and textbooks to be covered. And also maybe if you want a little bit more ease into college and maybe have a little bit more help, this might be something you might be interested in, eligible for. And you can reach out to actually Alicia Burks. This is her information down here at ascend.blueridgectc.edu if you're interested in this. This is a program that only starts every fall. So if you're planning on starting college in the fall, you might be eligible for this. West Virginia Invest and financial aid, all of that will start whichever semester you decide to start with us. I've gone over a lot of information, I know. So I'm going to wrap it up just a little bit here. I've talked about the programs we offer. We do offer over 60 different programs, degrees, and certificates. You can always start taking maybe a classes for a certificate, finish the certificate, maybe get out, get a job for a little bit, and come back and finish a degree. You can absolutely do that. We have affordable tuition. It is really affordable compared to some just other places you might look at. And, you know, there's no shame in starting here with us local, taking some classes, and then be transferring out to save your money. Perfectly fine. We're going to have smaller class sizes. And we do have some awesome student services. We do. We're pretty cool. We're going to have tutoring. We have student activities. We have career services. We have a little bit of everything. And that is all hosted by my coworker, Sarah Gordon, who is awesome. We really take care of you. Us in admissions, we're going to help you through the process. And then we, of course, will help you be healthy, happy, and safe during your time with us as well. Okay. So I've talked about everything. So how do we apply? Okay. So how do we apply to Blue Ridge? It is pretty simple. All we would need is an application. You can fill it out at blueridgectc.edu. And also in the meantime, you want to fill out your FAFSA. I'm going to mention a couple times, financial aid, it's not required. You don't have to fill out FAFSA. You don't have to use financial aid. Would they suggest at least filling out your FAFSA and seeing what you're eligible for? Absolutely. Please do. You never know. Everyone needs to apply. You never know what you might be eligible for. So just an application, and then we would need your official school transcripts. If you're applying to us while you're still in high school, you actually don't need to send us your high school transcripts. We'll only take them when you're completed with high school. So that's fine. We'll see that you're in high school and say, oh, no, he's good. We'll go ahead and put him on our list and we'll ask for his transcripts later. SAT scores. So that's something I haven't mentioned. Test scores are not required with Blue Ridge. We do not require an SAT or ACT. It's not required whatsoever. Neither is a certain GPA on your transcript. We're just looking that you've completed either your GED or high school, and we're just seeing proof of that. But we're not looking at your scores. We're not judging you. We're not looking at anything like that. We accept everyone who applies and sends us the required transcripts and materials. Okay. While we don't require that test score, we do always suggest that maybe you send them in, see where you place. It's going to help us place you into the math and English correct for your level. And sometimes your major might need a higher math or English, so that always helps. You can also take a free placement test with us to do the same thing. After we get your application and your transcripts, you'll get an acceptance email. And from there, you can then complete new student orientation, where myself or Hope would walk you through the tips and tricks of Blue Ridge via Zoom, or you can do it online. And then, of course, you can register for classes and get rocking and rolling. And in the meantime, either before or after or during your application process, you will want to make sure your FAFSA is filled out and then all financial aid requirements are complete. Okay. When they can be done in any order, financially at admissions. But the one thing is, we can't really tell you exactly what you're eligible for money-wise until everything is complete with admissions. Okay. So it's just something to think about. All right. I've talked about a lot, but this skinny is Blue Ridge. We offer so many different programs, so many things that might interest you, so many things I didn't even know were a thing. I did not know mechatronics was a program, heavy equipment tech. And, I learned so much. I know Hope learns so much every day. Whether you know exactly what you want to do, awesome, great. If we have that, awesome. We'd love to have you. We'd love to get you started. If you know what you want to do, but we don't offer it, that's okay. Maybe take some classes with us. Take your Englishes, your maths, your sciences, get those out of the way. Maybe just be a liberal arts major and then transfer to maybe that school that you want to go to that has that program. Last but not least, if you don't know what you want to do, that's okay. We're all still trying to figure it out. You can always start with us, work on those general education classes, maybe take a couple electives, take some fun sounding classes, see what strikes your fancy and see what maybe piques your interest. And you might have an epiphany and you might say, oh, that's what I need to be doing. And that's what college is all about. Learn about yourself, of course, learning about the world and learning about, certain programs that maybe you've always been interested in, or maybe things that you just learned about. In any case, this is all of our contact information. Learn more about us at our website, blueridgectc.edu. That is the admissions email that both Hope and I have access to, as well as our text numbers. Financial aid, if you want to reach out to them, that is their information as well. And I didn't mention it, but of course, if anyone's working with an IEP or 504 plan, if you'd like to see maybe what accommodations you might be eligible for, at Blue Ridge, you can absolutely reach out to our disability services coordinator, and that is that email down there and text. We are here to help you in any way, shape, or form. Blue Ridge is an awesome, diverse, fabulous place with a little bit of everything. If you ever want to learn more about it, please don't hesitate to ask. We'd love to talk to you about it. Hope and I love what we do and love the school that we work for. And we really just want to make sure everyone's happy, healthy, and safe and getting the educations they want and they deserve. And I think that's it. I think that's my spiel.
Alrighty, I found a couple questions along the way.
Okay.
So one student had asked, what if they're in high school, but they aren't local to Blue Ridge? Can they still receive that $25 per credit hour?
Great question. So yes, the answer is yes. Even if you don't live in the state, near the state, far away, apologies, I'm trying to back up to it. Absolutely, any high school student, any current high school student is eligible for that $25 a credit hour tuition as a high school student. Absolutely. How do we check? Well, you fill out an application, you say you're still in high school, and we also require your in-progress high school transcripts, and that's how we'll know that you're still in high school. But absolutely, doesn't matter where you live. Any high school students, absolutely take advantage of that $25 per credit hour. It is one heck of a deal. I get too excited about it every time.
One last question.
Yeah.
So I know you had mentioned that, students can transfer, and do we have a department that's actually delegated to helping students navigate the transfer system?
So we do. It's not quite as well known, I think, as it should be, but absolutely we do. So it all depends on what program you end up going for. And thank you for that question, Hope, because that reminds me of other things. So yes, you can transfer from Blue Ridge to other schools. We do have articulation agreements with certain schools, Shepherd, WVU, and then a lot of other in-state schools, as well as online for certain programs, education, nursing. Those are just a few business that I think of. Those are the programs that will definitely transfer to certain schools credit for credit. The other ones, you would have to reach out to each individual school and say, hey, I'm going to Blue Ridge, I'm taking these classes, what will you accept from them? Our credits do transfer rather well to other schools. We are accredited by the HLC. However, it's all going to be up to that next school, what they will accept from us and whether that is those classes are what you need for your next program. Okay, that's also another thing. But yes, you will be able to work with an academic advisor that you will be assigned at Blue Ridge. And there is also not necessarily a department, but definitely a couple different faculty and staff members that work with transferring, helping you directly transfer to another school on our side of it anyhow, finishing your degree, getting, if that's what you want to do with us, make sure everything's squared away. And then actually on the other side, you will be working with someone in admissions from that other school you want to transfer to and pretty much going through the same process. And just saying, hey, I'm finishing up with Blue Ridge. What do you need from me? And you kind of go on that end. So yes, we'll be able to help you as well as your next school will be able to help you as well. Sorry, that was a little roundabout of an answer.
That's all the questions that I found. The other things that I want to mention, with working at Blue Ridge, I can't stress enough how much of a family mentality it is. We truly do want all students to feel included, and we want to be here for you every step of the way. With that being said, let's say you didn't feel like this was enough of a hands-on experience for you. We are hosting a set of webinars, and there's one every week. Next week, we're going to have a special high school night. So if you're a high school student and you want to learn more about how to do that $25 per credit hour, or if you want to learn about, how to get started after graduation, we can totally help you with that. And you can find that information right on our website, blueridgectc.edu. And then if you go to future students, and then there's a tab that will say weekly webinars, that will help you find everything you need. And we hope to see you there. And we'll do it a little more traditional Zoom meeting wise, and we can answer your questions one-on-one.
Absolutely. And unless anyone has any other questions, I'm going to give it a little second. Thank you so much for listening to us today. I know it was a pretty small group. I know it was a lot of information, but just remember, Blue Ridge CTC, we're here to help you in any way we can. If you just want to take some classes and kind of figure out what you want to do, we've got your back. If you want to take some classes, get a degree, and transfer to another school, we also got your back. Either way, we are here to help you, and just let us know if you have any more questions, either later today, whenever. That is our contact information right there. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are working mostly remotely now due to COVID-19, as is most schools in the area, but don't hesitate to reach out to us. Hope and I know we're always on our phones and emails, and we're always checking that stuff super quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I think that's it.
All right, great job, Isabella and Hope. Let me just get my slide up here. We just have a few last things we need to talk about. It will take 2 seconds. Oops, I was on the right side. All right, so thank you for joining us. When we close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide us. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to check out additional ones at WVACRAO.org. All of the recordings will be available here in about a week, also at WVACRAO.org. Thank you guys for being with us today.